Et voilà. Alors là, apparemment, on va faire une salle bizarre. C'est vrai que déjà, l'aventure n'est pas bizarre. Du coup de chicha, non. Ah oui, il prenait aussi des trucs bizarres. On s'arrête à bizarre. Oh putain, marijuana, j'avais pas vu. Ça, c'est fait.
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life.
Oh, c'est mon nouveau métier. Je mets où après?
He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself.
Oh là là, le travail à la chaîne, c'est compliqué.
In our sessions, I saw the same
Enfin, j'en ai
behavior.
fait, mais pas ça.
His mind began to wander.
C'est ce truc. Je le fasse. À l'infini. J'arrive pas à l'atteindre, ça fait que je bouge ma main, ça sera impossible. Faire quand même, je dois faire que ça. Et je fais des débuts de... C'est carré, c'est l'an dernier. Attends, je comprends pas trop. Ah, ça y est, je comprends. Ah mais je vais plus rien voir.
I asked him to describe it. He said he started small, imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads. And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head.
M'énerve le poisson là. Bah, Ah si, ça marche.
But he took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then.
MOBA.
Daydreaming at the cannery. I spoke with his boss.
Ah.
but he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend.
Coucou les chiens.
On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
C'est marrant.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
Sexe, tout ça.
And he was always humming something. Every day his imagination grew stronger. He no longer spoke at the cannery. But his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him. He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery. Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on.
Bon, maman, je bosse.
In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
Chouette.
The queen was on her own quest for radiant rainbows. He followed the sound of her.
Ah bah c'est compliqué de tourner. De l'art ou de la guitare électrique? Allez, de la guitare électrique.
Electric sitar. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound.
C'est ma princesse? Non, t'en fais
He
pas.
knew the world was all in his imagination.
Oula, je vais avoir des trucs à faire. Ah, si elle est un peu tassée.
But he
Elle
was
m'a
so
fermé la
proud of
porte au nez.
having created it.
Je fais plus rien pour aussi. Je peux rien faire.
In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the one chopping salmon, but the one climbing the steps of a golden palace.
Elle s'enfuit encore?
My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Oh, c'est génial, putain, la transition.
He began to forget the world we know.
Alors, en même temps, je crois que c'est tout ce qu'on fait à notre manière. Ah, là, je suis dedans, quoi. Mais dans
I think it pained
taf
him to remember
château.
Lewis, the cannery worker. He began to despise the man with a royal
Service
contempt.
d'hygiène, s'il vous plaît. Coucou. Mais il fait rien là. Mytho, il fait semblant de bosser. Non, c'est qu'il est devenu fou. Qu'est-ce qu'il faut que je fasse? Je vais mettre une baffe, non? Lewis, ça va? Qu'est-ce que tu fais? Tu fais rien. Lewis. Ok. Bah, y a rien, apparemment, c'est bien que je fasse quelque chose. Bah, genre lui arrêter la machine pour qu'il arrête de psychoter. Une douche froide. Mais oui, il me fait peur. Je peux rien lui faire. Je peux pas lui parler, je peux pas le... Le pauvre, il me fait de la peine.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace
Wow.
would be packed with his companions.
Alice au pays des merveilles, c'est dingue.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on inviting him.
Le gros matou. Molly. Ah, c'est le chat Molly.
down his head.
Oh, ma reine. Oh, c'est une guillotine.
And the rest I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
Okay.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Ça va, je suis pas choquée. Tout va bien. Bon, comme quoi, hein, encore une fois, ne prenez pas de drogue, ça mène à ça.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
Faut que je sorte, je sais pas. Je sais plus de phrase. Non, je vais peut-être pas me suicider moi non plus, hein, ça fait beaucoup. Je sais pas s'il fallait que je me barre ou pas. Moi, il y a toujours une petite phrase d'indication. Ah, là, c'est fait. Je retourne dans la chambre. Si j'ai loupé quelque chose. Je pense pas. Elle dit plus rien. Ah là. Mais si, tu peux l'ouvrir.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Bah, que des malheurs, ouais, je comprends aussi, mais c'est vrai que pourtant c'est un super endroit. Petite maman.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night.
On va raconter la dernière soirée. Quoi, c'est bientôt la fin?
whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
The power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house. Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories!
Okay.
I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born. That night, the tide went way, way out. It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it. When the fog rolled in, I lost my way. I got turned around. I started seeing things. Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine!
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it! Let go! I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the van came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We both tried to make the best of it. A few years went by. My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way. This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
C'est les devs. Ah, trophée obtenu, la fin de tout. C'est chouette la petite présentation avec, enfin la petite fin avec les devs du coup. En tout cas, elle était géniale. Un peu court cela dit, mais il est complet, il est badass quand même. Donc, trophée obtenu, merci Yann. les épisodes et c'est bien. Toutes les histoires, c'est bien. Maîtrise. Enjoy, thank you. Se rejouer une histoire est maintenant disponible. Ah oui, on peut refaire les petits chapitres. D'accord. Bah, c'était super sympa. Très court, mais il y avait tellement de déco, de jeux dans un jeu, d'histoire dans une histoire que bah, je comprends quoi. Bon bah je suis bien contente de l'avoir fait, donc ouais effectivement, j'avais rien vu dessus. Et bah je suis contente de pas avoir été spoil parce que c'était super sympa. Par contre, famille de malheur quoi, hein, les pauvres. Au bout d'un moment, il va falloir que ça s'arrête. Bon bah j'espère que ça vous aura plu aussi. Et pour ceux qui l'ont fait, bah laissez un petit com au pire. Et puis bah comme d'hab, hein, abonnement, un petit like, un petit mot. Et puis bah, je vous retrouve pour un prochain jeu. Je dis pas lequel pour le moment. Voilà. Donc gros bisous et j'ai vraiment apprécié. J'espère que vous aussi. Bisous bisous.